Hey everybody, welcome to another recap of Celebrity Apprentice. Last time, Darryl Strawberry quit. Loser! So everybody was called back to the boardroom immediately. They had to pick new project managers in like 2 seconds. So they picked Rod and Selita. And they found out that they were going to be whisked away to Teterboro Airport the next morning. Just the PMs, though. This is the first time that the PMs have been separated from their teams, and they didn't even tell them where they were going. All they knew was that they had to get on a plane and go somewhere. So they find out in air that they're going to Universal Orlando Resort to gather information to create and present a 3-dimensional interactive display for the new Harry Potter attraction. And they had to present it in the end to a bunch of Harry Potter geeks. Now the thing is, they can't call their team until they land, so what are they going to do? Well, in the meantime, Summer Sanders got to deliver her check to Right to Play. And LifeLock and Norton, in wonderfulness, are going to be kicking in another $10 per adult membership for the charity, so that's really cool. All right, so back at the girls' team, Cyndi brought in a dry erase board because she wants everything written down because she doesn't want to leave anything up to, like, thinking. She wants it all on the thing, and when something gets done, she wants it checked off. And Holly Robinson Peete didn't like that. She was like, yo, Cyndi, it's not going to be like that all the time, so just forget it. It's not going to work. And I'm here for my kid because he's got autism, and I really want to win for him because 1 in 93 families are going to be affected, so everybody's there for their charity, honey. I got a kid with autism too, and I'm not like, oh, don't give to the other charities because, you know, my kid's got autism or whatever, so just take a seat. So the guys are pretty worried about Rod because he is extremely technically challenged. He does not know how to use a computer, and he barely knows how to use a cell phone, which I find completely unbelievable considering he was governor of Chicago. Or was it like the whole state of Illinois? I don't even know because I don't even care. All right, so Selita totally hit the ground running. And she called up the ladies when they landed, and she finds out that Cyndi loves Harry Potter. And can you give everyone a task, Selita? Because we really need to know stuff. And Selita's like, no, I don't even know what's going on yet. I just got here. And the guys, they're worried. Again, Rod does not know how to use a computer or a cell phone or anything. All he knows how to do is be a politician and schmooze. So Bret, well, when he calls in, he asks Bret, what's a 3-dimensional design? How can you not know what a 3-dimensional design is? And Bret's like, it's like a nativity scene. I guess. I don't know. So, Blago, like I said, he does not know how to email or text. So he's sitting there like an idiot, and Selita is like texting and emailing away and emailing photos back to her team and everything. So he was definitely at a disadvantage. So they have their meeting with the execs in Orlando, and they pile up on the merchandise. And Blago definitely took advantage of getting all the free stuff because he's a politician. So Bret starts explaining his vision because Blago totally puts Bret in charge. He's like, yo, you're in charge. You're the creative director. Deal with it. So Bret comes up with like this idea that there's going to be flashes of light and it's going to scare the kids, but it shouldn't freak them out. He's trying to like totally manufacture all this stuff without actually knowing like the information or the facts about the project. Rod totally sucked. He basically put Bret in charge and fell asleep on the plane. I mean, that's all he did. He was just like, yo, you're in charge, make decisions, I'm going to sleep. And then when Erin Burnett showed up to see what the guys' team was doing, Bret's hormones got out of control, and he was just totally puppy dog in love with Erin Burnett, and he was just like, she's so sexy, and I watch you all the time on television. What a freak. Come on, can you say stalker? So the PMs returned to their teams, and Rod totally had no plan. Every time somebody asked him for advice or information or anything, he just was like, you got to make a decision. That's all. Just make a decision. And Selita, on the other hand, on the women's team, was totally on top of things. She was giving everybody a clear plan of what to do and correcting some of the things that they had started doing. So she was being very accurate with her presentation. So at the presentation, for the ladies, Selita had the worst British accent I've ever heard in my entire life. It was even worse than mine. And Cyndi was totally insane. To me, she was channeling Annie Potts from Ghostbusters 2. It was crazy, okay? But they had a pretty excellent presentation. I mean, it was definitely interactive, and it was fun, and it was accurate, and they had prizes and stuff, and they kept saying Wizardly World of Harry Potter or Wizarding World of Harry Potter over and over and over, which the executives, I'm sure, loved. But the men's presentation, they had an overactive smoke machine on the inside of it, which was like, you couldn't even see what was going on in there. Bret Michaels wasn't even dressed up in like a black robe like he was going to Hogwarts or anything. He was just Bret Michaels. And Blago couldn't name the rides when the executives asked him what they had at the park. He couldn't think of Dragon roller coaster. And Bret Michaels made all the kids line up. It was like really weird, and I don't know, it was kind of like going to the dentist office. So the kids said the girls were good, they were accurate and everything, but the guys were funny. Yeah, because they were stupid. And the guys ended up bribing the kids at the end with a giant table full of merchandise that Blago had pilfered from Orlando. So Selita was working on the plane, and Blago was napping. It comes out in the boardroom. And Blago kind of tried to talk his way out of it. He was like, yeah, I had my sunglasses on, so you couldn't tell if my eyes were open or not, so I might not have been napping. And everybody was just like, all right, so the ladies end up winning. I mean, to me, it wasn't much of a contest. The guys had plenty of merchandise, which was cool, but it was really bad. Their whole thing was just really bad. The talking tree, Goldberg, he was supposed to be the talking hat as well, and it was like, little kid was like, you're not fooling me. So the ladies win, like I said, and Selita gets her $20,000 for Shine on Sierra Leone. And yeah, let's just say that the men were inaccurate, but the ladies needed to sell the attractions. Now, I noticed they weren't really talking about the rides or anything, but they did have some good branding, but apparently they really wanted them to talk about the rides, but it didn't matter because they won anyway. All right, so in the men's boardroom, Rod sucked at communication. No S, Sherlock. All right, and, Rod did a smart thing by putting Bret in charge, kind of, because then he could throw him under the bus, but then he refused to take him back to the boardroom. And I'm really surprised that Donald Trump called Goldberg like a wussy, because he was like, I was in that tree costume and I was like ready to pass out because it was so hot in there and the smoke and everything. And Trump was like, who passes out? What are you, some kind of wimp or something? Ugh, that was not good, Trump. I don't know why you did that. I think you're going to end up getting body slammed if you ever fire that guy. So Blago ends up wanting to bring back Curtis and Michael, and Trump is like, why are you doing that? That's pretty stupid. You should be bringing back Bret. And Blago refused to bring back Bret. So when he brought the two guys back, Curtis and Michael, he tried to throw Curtis under the bus by saying he was a poor communicator. But it was pretty obvious when it came out that Rod didn't know how to text or basically even use the phone at one point that he should go, because he was in charge of communications and relaying all the information that he learned in Orlando to his team, and he just didn't do it, so he's fired. All right, now that we got that out of the way, on the next Celebrity Apprentice, the women are short-handed, and it's a commercial shoot. And it's going to be emotional, let's get that right out front, because Bret's daughter might be diabetic. Yeah. So till next time, much love.